This is a line, not just any line. This line contains the entirety of time, all that ever was and all that ever will be. At least that's what we thought, because the mystery of time, while being one of the most studied areas of physics and almost being fully defeated by Albert Einstein himself, cannot be explained and fully done justice by the tools of science, and thus we must use something else. Let's return to our line, because I want to pinpoint on it exactly where we are in this current day, exactly in this very moment. Where are we? We run into our first issue here, because obviously now is different for you and me. By the time you see this now will be your past. This is why time is so innately complicated. You can locate yourself in space very precisely. You can give your exact location, but time isn't that simple. Because just like space, time is also relative. But what is it relative to? Well, we can relate now to when time first existed. So let's go there. The Big Bang, 13.8 billion years ago. And in that moment is when not just space, but also time was created and they became one, space-time. The universe isn't occupied within space. The universe itself is the space, and so is time. Without space, there is no time, and without time, there's no space. If we are not in space, then we are not in time. The universe must be time then, because the universe is space. So if the universe is space, then the universe must be time. But the relationship can't just be for the beginning, because we also need an endpoint. So if the start of space, the start of the universe is the start of time, then the end of space must be the end of time. We don't know how space will end, so we don't know when it will end. It can range from a few trillions of years to trillions of quintillions of years. The universe as we know might be infinite, not just in space, but in time. The universe might be immortal. We can understand a start. 1, 2, 3. There's a start. So the universe started, of course. Time started. But then you wonder what was before. What was before there was anything? And you might say there was nothing. But even nothing, the very idea of nothing is innately something. And thus, before there was something, there was nothing, which is something. Before there was time, there was no time. What will be after is the same as what came before. It goes into a dimension of thinking beyond our capability. And so we keep wondering, we keep asking, what was? What will be? But as you will see, is that it gets a whole lot more confusing from here. What was before we define as the past. What will be we define as the future. And what is the present. But what was will never be. And so it technically doesn't exist. What will be isn't something we could never reach. And so it's meaningless. And what is a fleeting idea that always changes, because now is never the future, it's never the past, but it's a moment in between. A moment that, with every type of thought, should not exist. Even the present itself is always the past. It takes light from the sun 8 minutes to reach us. The light we receive is light from the past. Even the nerve signals in our body take milliseconds to reach and be processed by our minds. So we are always processing the past as if it's the present. And so if we never live in the present, we're always living in the past. But the past has passed. If this line represents the entirety of time, then what will come must have already been decided. Because we can see that there is something. So is the present a journey from beginning to end? Like a story where choosing and thinking are side effects of the past. Like a book, you discover the story in real time, but it was already written long ago. Or are we here at the very end? In real time, the line is growing. There is no future, like a book being currently written. And so then time must be confined to this line. But then we ask again, what is beyond? Well, beyond isn't decided yet. It's not written yet. And so it just doesn't exist. We live within 3 dimensions of space. The first dimension can be described as an infinitely thin line where you move backwards and forwards. 2 dimensions of space can be described as an infinite amount of 1 dimensions being stacked upon each other, where you can move backwards and forwards, left and right. And 3 dimensions of space is an infinite stack of 2 dimensions, backwards, forwards, left, right, up and down. So if we live within 1 dimension of time, we must live on a line. On this line, we can only move forwards. We can go forwards faster or slower. And sometimes the math allows us to even go backwards. But it all depends on how we travel along this line. Because if we travel through it, then it's as if we are being pushed along a river. We have no control. But if we move on top, if we move above the line, if we break free of it, then we can go wherever we want. It turns out if you tear the fabric of the universe, the fabric of space-time, You no longer need to abide by its rules. You can travel faster than light, meaning you can travel backwards in time. So we can travel forwards, maybe we can travel backwards, but can there be more than one dimension of time? Can there be two dimensions where we can go backwards and forwards and left and right, or three dimensions we can go backwards and forwards, left, right, up or down? Well, nothing really forbids the universe from operating in that way. But what would that even look like? What would going sideways in time look like? Well, it might be traveling along all the possibilities of time at any given moment. It might look like traveling left this moment would be going into an alternate reality where the next sentence I say is slightly different, but we can only keep wondering. And so the tools of science cannot and might never be able to answer these questions. And so sometimes we must turn to what we truly believe.